Evening to each and every one of you. We are back again. This is Power 103, the station that empowers the people. Here tonight in the studio, you have Dr. Morris and my good friend, my co host, Dr. Sanders, from all the way live from Chicago, Illinois. And tonight we have another conversation. And tonight's conversation is called When Life Has a Price Tag. When life has a price tag. But I am going to play some music and we are going to get this show started.
It seems like I have lost your love. So tell me what I gotta do. Oh, I really want is to come back to you. See, I had a good thing right in my face. Whoa. You ain't even let me back in your space. You rabbit face woman that I ever seen. We done feel so apart. Girl, you could have been my queen. You used to call me up, invite me to your place. Oh, now all I can remember is how your lips would taste your smile, your hooks and the look in your eyes. See, I can't even count the lonely ups and cries. Now I don't wanna lose your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love. Now I don't wanna lose your love. What I gotta do to make you come back to me? Yeah. You've been so long that you want to be free. Now I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose your love. Just can't lose your love. Just can't lose your love. Just can't lose your love. I feel so apart. You've never been my queen. You used to call me up, invite me to your place. Now all I can remember is how your lips would taste your smile, your hooks and the look in your eyes. See, I can't even count the lonely bits and craze. Now I don't wanna lose your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love. Now I don't wanna lose your love. Oh, see, I don't wanna lose your love. Now I gotta do. Yeah. It seems like I am lost your love, so tell me what I gotta do. Oh, I really want us to come back to you. See, I had a good thing right in my face. Now you won't even let me back in your stays. You and a cleanest woman that I ever seen. We done feel so part, girl. You could have been my queen. You used to call me up, invite me to your place. Now all I can remember is how your lips would taste your smile. It seems like I haven't lost your love, so tell me what I gotta do. Oh, I really want us to come back to you. See, I had a good thing right in my face. Now you won't even let me back in your space. Your hugs and the look in your eyes. See, I can't even count the lonely nights and cries. No, I don't wanna lose your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love now. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose your love. What I gotta do to make you come back to me? You've been so long that you wanna be free. Now I don't wanna lose your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love now. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose your love. Yeah. Oh, I just can't lose your love. It seems like I have lost your love, so tell me what I gotta do. Oh, I really want us to come back to you. See, I had a good thing right in my face. Now you won't even let me back in your space. Not every tease, woman that I ever seen. We done feel so part, girl. You could have been my queen. You used to call me up, invite me to your place. Now all I can remember is how your lips would taste your smile. It seems like I haven't lost your love, so tell me what I gotta do. Come back to you. See, I had a good thing right in my face. Now you won't even let me back in your space. Your legs, the look in your eyes. See, I can't even count them lonely lates and cries. No, I don't wanna lose your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love now. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose your love. Oh. I don't wanna lose your love. See, your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love now. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose your love. What I gotta do to make you come back to me? You've been so long that you wanna be free. Yeah. I don't wanna lose your love. See, I don't wanna lose your love now. I don't wanna lose your love. I just can't lose your love.
And we are back again with another conversation. Tonight, we are in the studio. You have Dr. Morris and Dr. Sanders live from Power 103, the station that empowers the people. And tonight, our conversation is about when life has a price tag. When life has a price tag. Proverbs 31, 8 through 9 says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak, speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy." What happens when you cannot afford to live? Tonight, the conversation again is when life has a price tag. When life has a price tag. And that's our conversation for tonight. In the movie John Q, Everybody know the movie John Q. When life has a price tag. John Q tells the story of John Quincy Archibald, a hardworking husband and father whose young son suddenly needs a heart transplant. Although John works hard, changes to his employer's health care insurance, leaves his family without enough coverage to pay for the life saving operation. Faced with losing his son because he cannot afford medical costs, John takes desperate measures by holding the hospital emergency room hostage. Dr. Sanders, I think we got some feedback. Dr. Sanders? Dr. Sanders? I think we have some feedback.
Okay, so you hear me.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
so in the story
Yes.
of John Quincy Adams, John Quincy Archibald, he was a hardworking husband and a father whose young son suddenly needs a heart transplant. Although John works hard, changes to his employer's health insurance leave his family without enough coverage to pay for the life-saving operations. Faced with losing his son because he cannot afford the medical costs, John takes desperate measures by holding the hospital emergency room hostage, not out of hatred, but out of a determination to save his child's life. The movie raised questions about health care, poverty, justice, and the value of human life. A person's life is worth more than their bank account. God never measured a person's value by their income or financial status. Every human being is created in God's image and deserves dignity and compassion. Compassion must come before profit. Jesus consistently showed mercy to the sick, the poor, and the forgotten. His ministry reminds believers that compassion should never be withheld because of someone's lack of resources. Poverty should never determine who lives. The movie John Q illustrates the fear many families experience when medical care is financially out of reach. While John Q is a fictional story, it reflects real concerns many people have faced regarding access to health care. Desperation can lead people to desperate decisions. John Q loved his son deeply, but desperation led him to make dangerous choices. Scripture calls believers to trust God while pursuing justice through righteousness and righteous means. Let's talk tonight. Dr. Sanders, tonight's conversation is called When Life Has a Price Tag. Tonight, the conversation is called When Life Has a Price Tag. Again, we all know we saw the movie John Q, and John Q took it upon himself to go into this hospital and take this hospital hostage because of the way that the hospital treated John Q and his family because his son needed a transplant. But because of the way that the healthcare system is set up in today's time, people are getting treated all kinds of way. And some people that don't have insurance are put on the back burner. Tonight, the conversation again is when life has a price tag. Dr. Sanders, the floor is yours. Dr. Sanders, the floor is yours.
Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
You able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, God bless, God bless, God bless. Um, must give honor to God all the time, head of my life, to the Son Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And to the Holy Ghost. Okay, good, good. All right. So let me go and thank you, Apostle, once again for having these conversations that we need to be informative of. Um, Let me begin by identifying some things. One of the most important things I was sharing with a friend of mine this morning is that when you apply at a job, if you're working for a company, you must understand how your health insurance actually is. You have Blue Cross Blue Shield, you have Meridian, which is Medicaid, you have Alina, which is Medicaid, you have County Care, which is Medicaid, you have Obamacare. All of the ones that follow under Medicaid are insurances that mostly Medicaid is in network with. There are some hospitals and clinics who are not in network with certain insurances. So, for instance, if you work for the city, the state, or the federal government, you have what they call A plus insurance because they pay a bigger portion, you pay a smaller portion. I'm going to use me. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield Advantage PPO. That means if I get sick, God forbid, and I'm stuck somewhere, I don't have to worry about being designated to one area. The type of insurances, when you read, now I used to work for a durable medical equipment company, and I had the opportunity to learn about more in depth that you all don't know about. So, for instance, let me go with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Now, Blue Cross Blue Shield also is a part of, they have a network. Blue Cross Blue Shield is like this, and you have one sector that is Medicaid. That means they will pay predominantly every and all types of co-payments. You don't have to pay maybe $10. Any type of doctor visits they cover, any type of uh, medical conditions. I had Medicaid before when I had breast cancer, and I had Blue Cross Blue Shield Community Health. So they took care of the bill for me to have my treatment, which was only the radiation. I'd have to have the chemo. But I went to my doctor visits and all of that. So now, when I had breast cancer, the World Organization Health Organization has numbers, which are called ICD numbers. Your body, your fingers, your joints, your hand, your wrists, elbow, up to your shoulder, has numbers. So what they do is they give numbers to your body parts. To repair those body parts is a different thing. So you have 3 numbers to 7 numbers with ICD codes. Okay. With those codes, it specifies the body part and the severity of the body part's condition that has happened. So recently I had what they call a knee arthroscopic procedure because I tore my ligaments. So they restitched it. So the ligaments on the outside, that has a code. My knee has a code. They went inside of my meniscus to clean it, but the meniscus has a code. But it's all on the knee, but it goes by clarity. It goes all the way down, even to your ACL and your PCL, and then it goes all the way down to your foot. So what my doctor did when he went in to restitch my ligaments and cleaned out my meniscus, the total cost for that procedure, surgery, pretty much the procedure surgery, costs over $4,000, about 4,000 some odd dollars. So my insurance only covers so much of it. The rest of it I had to pay, but I ended up getting financial assistance through my hospital, which is Advocate Medical Group, to be able to get that covered because I couldn't pay all of that. It literally, because if the doctors do not repair correctly, guess what? They got to go back and do it for free. So each part of your body costs. And what I've told people before, don't be dumbfounded to not understanding. Oh, I got the best insurance. I got Aetna. I got no. You need to read the book and ask them, what parts of your body is covered under there. Because what the insurance company does, they make a standardized pricing for what it would cost for a doctor, surgeon to perform these procedures and surgery. And so when the amount is set there, for instance, a lot of people are getting implants. Some of them are getting dentures. It's almost cheaper to get dentures because implants run up to $75,000 because you've had so much damage with your teeth that you have gum disease. And so now you're trying to figure out how much you're going to pay, how much you're going to pay, and all of that. So it costs, your body almost costs close to, oh my Lord, $500,000. But people don't read it. When you get your book from your job, it behooves you to read between the lines. When I called MetLife Dental at my job, I asked them how much is this and what is covered. The cleaning, x-rays, deep root cleaning, it costs. It's like $300 up and down. So that's $700. And then the clean is about maybe 100 and some, depending on what dentist you're going to, but also what area you're going to, because depending on the zip code, that's another number that people don't know about. So when I was doing the Durable Medical Equipment Company, I went into the profile of a lot of customers who needed durable medical equipment, such as diapers, pads, canes, walkers, rollator walkers. Durable medical equipment are items that you use because you are unable to walk by yourself without having a device. So when I had to go in and look at these clients' coverage in the state, it's called Ability. I have a account with Ability. Everyone cannot get, no consumer can get Ability account unless you work in the healthcare industry. So I was able to determine if certain durable medical equipments were covered. Now, in that box, they have a drop down. Ability has a drop down that tells you specifically what the insurance companies will pay for it, what you have to pay if there's a copay for it, out of pocket, and what they're not going to cover. Because what in their mind, the insurance company is like, okay, we know life happens, but can you do something to prevent it from happening? As I told a former associate that I once knew who smoked cigars like a chimney. And I told him, I said, the echo for your heart, which is the imaging of your heart, they have a device that press down to see how your heart is operating, if it's operating correctly, if your heart is beating at a certain rhythm, which is connected to EKG. However, I said, but when you damage your heart with smoking, whether it's cigars, whether it's blunts, whether it's reefer, whether it's pipes, whatever, your heart is affected. And really, the teeth in your heart and your lungs are the most, oh my God, expensive part of and your brain, of course. These are the most expensive part of your body. Most people get arthritis. They get that, it doesn't become aggressive. But a lot of people don't understand. So when you start doing damage to your heart, guess what? You come into my procedure department. You got an order from your doctor that says you need to have an echocardiogram of your heart to see how effectively your heart is actually working. Once they put that order in, the doctor reads it. When the doctor reads it, it gives them a scale of where your heart is at and what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So that echocardiogram is about $1,000 for the test itself. That's how much it costs. So when they get through identifying where your heart levels are and how it's pumping the blood, or if it's under stress, then the doctor goes back to determine if you need heart surgery. You may need a new heart. You may have to have a whole nother thing. Sometimes the cigarettes and cigars and all the other stuff, and it affects your lungs. So if your lungs is not operating correctly, your heart going to be all over the place. Your heart going to be like this. I can't do this because you're doing this. So in the mindset of a body, and I'm being a little fanatical, but I want people to understand where I'm coming from. When you do damage to your body, there is a cost, literally, to do what? To repair, if it can be. Because what insurance companies not going to do, and they just now over the years start even having a cancer policy, which I think people should invest in. Because if you, God forbid, you have cancer and you don't have no money for all your treatments and whatnot, you need to go to Aflac to be able to get it, or Blue Cross Blue Shield has insurance coverage in certain areas. So when you're living, everything that you're doing to your body, if you are doing it to your body, not your body all of a sudden just got hit with a whole wad of smoke. Oh, okay, and I got cancer. No. If you're pumping things into your body, you want the doctors to recorrect it. It takes money for them to do that. So a lot of them end up getting public aid, which is called Medicaid. Now, Medicaid picks up what the regular insurance will not cover. But there's also a spin down with public aid. With public aid having a spin down for a year, it's only so much that you are allotted to even have to spend for your health care coverage. So I never smoked before, never did all that drinking and whatnot. I just had the breast cancer 18 years ago because in my family, it runs and hits a certain generation. So, but it doesn't run in the area where it's got me knocked out. Now, on my mom's side of the family, the men have problems with heart. There's a heart problem with men. Where some of my uncles had a stroke, some of them had a heart attack, things of that nature. Some of them lived out to be 80 something, some lived out to be 59. It all depends on what you're doing. But when you apply things that your body cannot take, it's costing. Now, when you go to EKG, they put the leads on your heart to see where your rhythms are. Take a couple of minutes. And they print it out. Once they print it out, it tells the doctors where to go from there. There's another test called the nuclear medicine stress test, which is a 3 to 4 hour procedure where you actually are on the treadmill. They shoot you up with a lot of the medication to see where your heart rhythm is. It's a 3 to 4 hour test. If your heart can't take it, they don't continue it because they don't want you to go into cardiac arrest. This is why I tried to tell a lot of people that I know, if you are smoking and drinking, you're killing your organs in your body. And this is where the insurance companies start to get a little antsy with people because when you're doing the damage, not something just all of a sudden happened out of nowhere, but when you are, let me go here. My dad is gone on to be wherever. My dad had a history of alcoholism. He drunk since he was 15 years old. It's record. Today I saw his doctor, that Dr. Walter Statler, excellent hemoc oncology doctor. I would refer a dog, a cat, and a bird because he's excellent. And my dad would not stop drinking. Although my dad acquired stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer, he would not stop drinking. The alcohol did a lot of damage to his renal area, which my dad had to wear what they call a suprapubic catheter. So men, what they do an incision in your bladder and they stick a catheter insert there. So when you urinate, it comes through a bag. It's a replacement of a Foley catheter bag. The Foley catheter bag is hooked up to the inside, the entrance of the penis. This is what it is. I'm not talking nasty. I'm just telling you what's going on. Mm-hmm. And sometimes my dad got frustrated with the Foley catheter till he damaged his penis. He couldn't urinate out of it anymore. So they had to go to his bladder and insert the suprapubic catheter. Now, you have to change it every 30 days. so you don't get an infection. My father, being hard-headed as he was, he would end up having UTI, urinary tract infection, which is very serious, and it has to be treated because he did not. I had to make him do it. Then he met some chick that got in his ear and was telling him something different to fight me, which is crazy. Now look where he's at now. So dad ended up having bladder cancer. When I got the final word of what my dad's condition was, everything pertained to alcohol abuse. And trust me. So dad did not stay on his job 20 or 30 years. He had to he did what he wanted to do, and he had to be on public aid. He had to get Medicare. So Medicare, Part A, Part B, you have the regular Medicare, you have the Part A, Part B, hospitalization. They'll pay for one thing. Public aid picks up the rest of the tab. Now, when you have to go into a rehabilitation center, which my dad had to go to Avantara. Avantara charges by the day. Physical therapy, you are allotted the approximately 69 days a year through your insurance for physical therapy. You can stay in a rehab for therapy if you have to, up to 99 days. After 99 days, it's out-of-pocket expenses. It's you got to stay in a nursing home or half rehabilitation nursing home, which is short term versus long term. Long term means you got to stay there for the rest of your life because you just can't do no more. Dad he qualified for that, but he couldn't stay in independent living because he kept drinking and being found on the floor all the time. So I had to transition him into a assisted living, which means that he has nurses, we call them care aides or whatever, that will make sure he gets his medicine, he gets 3 meals a day, but it costs you. So if you are a public aid patient, they put you on this scholarship where they only take, say if you're getting Apostle $900 a month, you got to pay $800. So you only got $100 to live off of.
Mhm.
So dad's expenses were covered under Medicare, Part A, Part B, and of course Medicaid. So when people think, oh, I can get a whole lot with Medicaid, not all. There are some areas and factors that public aid is not going to pay for because it depends on the World Health Organization's scale. That's what it depends on, the scale. So if you like now, a lot of people are getting bariatric treatment, they're getting Wegovy, Ozempic, because they either have diabetes or weight problems or both. And it is to help you get your AC1 down, or you just want to have the weight loss. But a lot of side effects come with some of the medications, such as hair loss, things like that. But you got to stay on the plan. But because obesity now is the biggest thing right now, it's costing. So now you got every doctor across the world. You had Dr. Narazadan down in Houston, Texas, that tried to get people that was weighing 500 and 600 and 700 pounds because a lot of them were emotionally eating. A lot of the people that were on his show, they were emotionally eating. So when they signed that contract to get in his program, he told them, now on this program, if you want to lose this weight, you got to exercise. Get this now. Don't eat this. Don't eat that, because a lot of the food that we take are not good for our bodies, which causes weight to gain and sit on you. And then if you don't want to go to the gym or you don't want to go walking, guess what's going to happen? He wouldn't do it because it's a risk. You can have a heart attack. Bariatric treatment, depending on what you're getting. Now, when you're getting the gastric bypass, it's thousands of dollars. So if your insurance company does not have that in the plan, this is why everybody has to learn to read your manual. Don't be excited because, oh, I'm working for the city, the federal government, and the state. I got the best insurance across the world. I don't have to pay nothing. No, you're going to pay something. So every part of your body that you have has the ICD numbers, even like with vascular imaging. Vascular imaging is an imaging of your carotid, your visceral, your arteries to see if there's any clogging going on, especially those who have leg problems. If there are any clots, it will identify clots. It will identify what is going on with your arteries, your carotid, and a lot of people that literally just have these challenges. Those tests cost thousands of dollars. It ain't no $20 here. Ain't no more that doctor come to your house and you give them like Fred Sanford did, give them $10. No, 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 no. Because if a doctor got to go in to do the surgery, it's thousands. Now the point is your insurance going to pay the doctor to do it? Is it covered? But it also goes back to your health. So when the World Health Organization identifies what is the root cause of your problem. This is why insurance companies were funky about handing out cancer policies. Because if you have cancer, depending on the type of cancer you have, they're not going to cover everything. They're just not. But it's the cost of it. But our people don't know because they are so happy in having the best insurance, but you're not reading the manual. So going back to Ability, Ability told me what type of things are covered by those ICD-10 codes. What the insurance is going to take and what they're going to put out. Real talk. That's the underlying issue that people do not know because they're so busy worried about, oh, I got good insurance. Do you really? Because HMO means you only going to one doctor. You're going to pay more with HMO. But you have to go to that one doctor. When I worked for CPS, I had PPO. Then when I transferred over to paraprofessional sub and a substitute teacher, they said 6 months, you can only qualify for HMO. That meant I could not go anywhere but to my HMO designated area. So that screwed me, right? Big time. I said, no, I don't want that. So when people say HMO, they be like, even the pharmacies, the medications. When I had the ligament surgery, the arthroscopic procedure where they restitch my ligaments, when I had breast cancer treatment, the radiation knocked out a lot of stuff. So I just can't take everything now. I'm allergic to 6 different medications. Why? And mainly it's cold medicines. I can't take a lot of cold medicines because what the radiation did. So what they do, they give you the generic brand, which is the same medicine, just by a different company. That's how they do it. So when you get your manual, you have to look and ask questions. Well, if I get breast cancer, or if I get cirrhosis of the liver, or if I get bladder cancer, what is that code going to cover? Because it depends on your insurance company's investment to want to do that, because the rest got to come out of your pocket. This is why if you work a job, you need to have a health savings account and contribute whatever you want to contribute to that health savings account. So when you have to pay a copay or medical treatment that is out of pocket, build it up enough to be able to use that money, and your job will match it dollar for dollar, so you can be able to get the coverage or the help that you need. And I learned this with my own job, because we didn't have a health savings account anywhere else. This was the only company that had it. So you contribute into it. Post office, I think they have it. City has it. The government has it. Some hospitals, you work from, state hospitals, they have it if you're an employee. But it's sad because when you're dealing with a person or persons, whether you're a single household or it's 2 people household, you got to pay a mortgage. Normally, mortgages, depending on where you live, are going to run you about $1,000 a month. Then if you're paying outside of the mortgage, which is your taxes, you got to pay that per year. Whatever the cost per year your taxes is, you got to pay for that. Then you got to pay for your bills. Then you got to pay for life insurance. You got to pay the utilities. You got to pay the water bill. See, those things matter in your area of life. So when you get sick, you're not going to go to Bobo and say, dude, You know, you're not gonna go to a non-licensed person to go get your teeth pulled. Because if your teeth get pulled and it's bothering you, you're gonna be bleeding to death, which can cause clots and cause you to die. Infection hit the blood, boom, that's it. It's a lot of things with that. Dentists, this is why dentists charge a lot of money. They
Mhm.
charge a lot of money. When it comes to, I had to get braces because my baby tooth fell out. And my baby tooth, I had all of my adult life. And they had to go in and they just put braces to kind of help with my teeth. With the braces, that was like at the time like $2,500. So now my teeth going in a whole different area, which I don't want to have oil surgery and things like that. So I'm looking at veneers and everything else as an alternative. But I'm looking at how much it's going to cost me out of pocket, because they will tell you, oh, it's 10,000, but you got to pay 3,500 or 4,000, and we'll pay this or we'll pay. See, and it depends on the area. I found this out with the dentist office. It depends on the zip code, how it costs. And they'll have payment plan where you can go to Cherry, or Care Credit and get a credit card, and you have to apply for credit to see what you'll get in order to get the services you want and charge it on the card, but you got to pay for it. This is what's happening now. You're financing to stay healthy. This is what it is. When I look into ability, I had patients that needed to have mobility scooters, power wheelchair. Well, if you go online, you'd be better off getting one out of your pocket because it run you under about $200 and under for a mobility scooter. Now, some of them, I want a power wheelchair where I could be jazzy and I could run around, because you have a lot of young, seniors that want to look cute in their power wheelchair, which is jazzy. Jazzy is a power wheelchair. It will allow you to get around, and a mobility scooter is like when you go to Walmart or Jewel's. Those are called mobilities. Those are scooters, but they're shopping basket scooters. Now you have rollator walkers, where people have to use the walkers to keep their balance. That costs you about $200 or $300, depending on who you're getting it from. You can't stand in the tub. You're gonna need a bath chair. Bath chairs are expensive, especially if it comes from Uline, because you're unable to stand due to knee procedures or surgeries that you've had. So, one of my dearest brothers in the Lord, him and his wife, they gave me a bath chair. I love it because I could not stand after I had the ligament surgery. I couldn't stand. They gave me everything. They gave me a walker. They gave me a cane with a suction at the bottom. They gave me, uh, what they call this thing, the ice machine, to be able to keep the swelling down. You have to put ice in it all the time. They sent me home with that, so my insurance had to cover that. My ortho doctor said, no, she needs this, she needs that. It hurt. It hurt like crazy, because when you had the procedure, my knee was hurting. I didn't know I was a bleeder. I bled so much. I didn't know I bled so much. Trying to go to the bathroom to sit in the tub. Not no, not now. Maybe later. I had to use the chair. I had to use my management company had to come in and put a bar on the side of my tub so I can be able to brace myself. But it hurt. I'm not gonna lie. It hurt. But when I looked at the bill and I began to see what it was, I'm like 40 some $100 for him to restitch my knee, my ligaments, and repair my meniscus. That cost, because the meniscus has a cost. Each ligament have a cost. Ain't no a pair for $2. They both cost. It's sad because our government knows this, and our government does not understand that every household cannot afford to pay for those type of surgeries. The state insurance can only do so much. While I was out on medical leave, I even applied for the health care to back up some of the balance of the bills. You know what they told me? Oh, you don't qualify. I said, why? Because you make too much. I'm only getting short-term disability, which short-term disability means you only get half of what you would be making per hour. So if you were making $24 an hour, you're only going to get half of that, which is $12 an hour. Because your short-term disability through your job is only going to give you that. So that means that's not enough for you to live off of. Because if you got a mortgage and rent and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be butt out. You really would. But the government doesn't understand the people and the need. They don't understand that. When it comes to using chemical products for those that are on drugs, cocaine, heroin, crack, weed, cigarettes, pipe, everything is being affected in your body. It's not going to go away. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just telling you what the real factors are. Because once your numbers under that ICD code has identified it, there are other numbers that's under there that will say for this, if it's repair, this has to be. They have all those numbers. You can look it up online. But if you're working and working for a company, you need to ask these questions. Don't just get the manual, put it on the coffee table, and then don't look at it no more. Then when you get sick, all of a sudden you want to get upset with the insurance companies. No, because you got to know if you're doing all this other stuff and damaging your body, then the doctors, now what the doctors started doing with the weight loss, in order for you to get the weight loss drug, they had to put you at 500 pounds over. Why? Because the World Health Organization says in order for you to get this medication, you've got to be weighed at a certain part by your doctor. And a lot of folk that wasn't even 400 pounds was getting Ozempic. That was the first thing came out. They had to do the drug because it started having complications. It will paralyze your stomach. You won't be able to eat a lot of stuff on it. My teacher, she's a nurse. I'm in her program learning, with the NAD shots. She does the lymphatic drainage. She does the cavilaser lipo, which liquefies the fat out of your body and through your excretions. And so, and she can give you the shot, but the shot costs you for a month close to $300. Some of them will do a sale and say $150, but you got to have 4 shots per week. But you've got to follow the plan if you want to get the weight down and get off. But also working out will help you as well, because you will be able to lose the weight effectively and more better, because it will respond to the drug. But in the community, it's sad to say that a lot of young people, I've seen a lot of young people since I've been in the vascular heart department, in the procedure department. I work in the procedure department, which is in the clinic. I see a lot of young people who are coming through there getting heart monitors. They're called Zio Holter monitor or MCOT. MCOT is a 30-day monitor that monitors your heart. So what they do is the EKG techs will deactivate the MCOT, trigger it to the company to register, and it monitors your heart for 30 days. The Zio, the Holter monitor, is 7 to 14 days, where the doctor wants to see how your heart is working, how effective your heart is. It costs a lot of money. That device alone is about $3,000. And folks are, whatever's going on, you need it. If you want the doctor to come back and repair what has gone on, whether it's your fault or not, we have to take accountability for what we do. I fell at the gym, as I'm a gym head. I love being on the bike. I love being on the machines. That's how I am. Clink, clink. But I tripped over one of the weights, which tore my ligament. So I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened to happen because I got excited and then sweating. And then by the time I got up, it's like, oh, okay, what's going on? So what they did was they had me to do physical therapy. That they aced that out. That ran out. They said no. So when I wouldn't have the MRI done, which I don't like MRIs, but he only did the lower extremity part, which was cool. I didn't fall out with I said, let's get this done. And it went on ahead and he said, okay, I see a little bit of arthritis, but you do have a tear. So we're going to repair it. Boom. Simple as that. So I had to go to pre-ops, lab work, EKG. I had to do all of that so I could be able to get the procedure done, which took me about 2.5 months to heal. And still it's a healing process because I'm not totally healed, but I can use my cane that they gave me. And I have to use the ice machine. So now when people that's on drugs and smoking, that's a whole nother topic because you're dealing with your lungs and your heart. My mom had a bout with drugs, which gave her a half a lung gone, and a half of the next lung. She could barely get up the stairs. But she was doing that, having fun at the post office with her friends. But it cost her a life at 45. I had to deal with that. I had to watch her at 45 years old. I was 27. Her life was literally, she came down to, from weighing maybe I would say almost 280, 300 pounds to a size 12. She was wearing a 22. But because of she had metastatic breast cancer, she had a mastectomy, which is a breast removal. So with the breast removal, she had to go through chemo and radiation. Then they found 2 tumors in her brain, several tumors throughout her body. They were going to do the brain surgery the following year, but the Lord took my mom in November, like he did my dad October and my grandmother October. All of them died the same month, years apart. So she had Humana at that time. We're talking about the 80s and 90s. So she worked for the post office. She's a federal government employee. So they took care of stuff. She couldn't get welfare at all because she worked for the post office. They were not going to give her Medicaid. We're going to do it. Public Aid has a book that will tell what is to be paid, what's going to be paid out, what's covered. And a lot of our people, Apostle, don't know this, but they need to know because they run around thinking, okay, you want the doctor to repair your lungs. 9 times out of 10, if you're talking about a lung transplant, guess what happens? That's only going to cover under certain criteria. Heart transplants, that's covered to a certain degree. And then if a person have an accident, like you said in John Q, you got to wait till a person have a freak accident in order to get and make sure that the heart is able to be effective, because you have heart surgery does not mean that your heart is going to operate correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what John Q was fighting for his son. He did everything he needed to do because he wanted to save his son's life. That's love. The hospitals, I remember one young lady when I worked for Gen Care Senior Medical, and I had to go for something I went for, but I used to work for the company. And she said, oh, you got the great insurance. I'm like, oh, I do? I said, so I'm not a good person to talk to if I don't have the best insurance? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I said, well, that's what you said. So what if I said I had the minimum? Would you judge me? But it also, it's the doctors in the network, because all doctors are not going to take the same insurance because they're not going to pay. One thing I've learned about doctors, now foreign doctors will take Medicaid. They can wait for 9 months, a year, or whatever to get their payment. That's another thing, is that a lot of doctors will not network with public aid because public aid does not pay on time. It takes them 6 months up to 2 years before they can get paid. And the doctors don't have time because they have to pay for the malpractice, malfeasance. They have a lot of insurances that they must pay for in case they make a boo-boo and get sued. Public aid ain't gonna cut it. A lot of foreign doctors will do it. There are some doctors that will talk patients out of the insurance company that they're with to be with them. I used to work for one that tried to do that. He was an African doctor. I had a lot of patients that was at the former Michael Reese Hospital, and he came in from Africa, and he was literally trying to steal patients to get in his network, which was Humana Gold Plus for seniors, because he can get money. There's a lot of things, Apostle, that our people don't look at. They just, oh, I got the best girl. Let me tell you, I'm telling the rest of my life. No, you're not. Because ability will tell you what you're covered, which is a state insurance, healthcare insurance database that only those who are in healthcare have access to. And so when I would call to verify what portion is covered, they would say, okay, this one is covered, but it has an addendum. It's almost like, life insurance, you know, how homeowners insurance. So there are certain coverages that are covered, but you have to explain, you have to tell them to talk to you like you're five, because if you don't, you're gonna be disappointed, and the government doesn't care. When I talk to my FMLA reporting company, Sedgwick, they told me, oh, we follow the guidelines of the ADA, which is the American Disability Act. Your job, if you're working and had surgery, your job had to make provisions, what they call job accommodation. My job had to give me an ergonomic chair that would help my hip, since I had the knee, the ligament repair, and they gave me a footrest, which I could just pretty much just kind of like run my feet up and down, because I sit for 7 hours. If I don't have a lunch, it's 8.5, 9 hours. Real talk. So, and it affects your body. This is why it's important that, is it fair to charge those kind of dollars for our body? No, but this is where you go to the voting poll. If our people would stop worried about what's going on TikTok and look at the voting poll, you would be able to see in your manual what your insurance covers. And the government don't care. If everything comes from the World Health Organization, those numbers mean something. That's why certain doctors choose certain fields. If you get into cosmetic surgery, most insurance are not paying for cosmetic surgery unless it's a breast replacement or prosthesis. If you have a leg and your leg is broken and they can't, then that's something different. But if you try to look pretty and beautiful, your insurance company ain't paying for that. You try to get, work done on your nose and Botox and all that, they ain't paying for that. Because what I've heard insurance companies say in quiet meetings, they get pissed off at people damaging their bodies with toxins and poisons, and now you want us to come clean it up, and then once they clean it up, you still go back to the same thing over and over again. So this is where they get frustrated. I'm just telling you what I've heard them say, not nobody that told me in my mind, in my sleep. And I read it. Healthcare. So the state insurance with public aid, they have guidelines as well. They will cover certain things. They won't cover everything. If you are on public aid and dental, guess what? They'll cover the child till they're 21 for braces. But after that, in public aid's eyeball, you become an adult when you turn 19. But with dental, they'll cover you until you're 21. My son is a college student. He is covered under my health care. I pay per month about $257 and some change for his dental his eye, his which is the vision plan, the dental plan, and the medical plan, because he's covered until he's 26. That's where he's covered at. So he can go in school, wherever. He don't have to worry about getting on. He can get on public aid on his own, but on the medical card, it's going to say TPA, which means there's a secondary, there's another insurance. So they're going to hit that insurance first before they pick up the pieces. But is it right to judge us according to our health? No, but give the circumstances of people that don't understand healthcare coverage and how you're being judged, it's erroneous. It really is. Because you have to deal with pain all the time. I don't like pain. I hate pain. You know, they gave me Tramadol. Tramadol had me high. I was like Uncle Joe without the buzz. I'm like, huh. But it only does so much. And then Norco, which actually does, it just numbs the pain out. The other one called next to somebody, but that numbs the pain out. But you got to make sure you don't have certain allergies, because if you have certain allergies to other medications, you can't take it. You can't take certain things. I can't take certain things. I'm allergic to beans, but I have 5 different medications that I'm allergic to. So I know I stay healthy, you know, and do what I need to do. The jobs don't want you to get sick, but life is life. But our government looks at us the way that they view what they've seen, because every doctor, when they do a medical report on a patient, they send that in transcription. Guess who gets it? The state and the federal government. Just like your social security number. They know how to find you. They know when you've been to the doctor. They know when you have not been to the doctor. They know when you have taken the steps for precautionary measurements of your health. They know when you have it. That's the back end of what the government sees. And so when you don't take care of your health and you have everything now at your hands, at your disposal, now the insurance companies are forced to try to keep you alive. But then if your job, if you're not making enough money per hour to be able to pour into your healthcare coverage, you're screwed. Now, in other countries, healthcare is free, but you got to pay for the medication. So the pharmaceutical companies, once they get through and pass approval, guess what happens? They said, okay, each pill, for instance, ibuprofen, in the hospital. If I can show you this, I'm going to show you something. When you go in the hospital, in the ER, to go in the ER is $2,000 now. Getting an ambulance is about $1,500. So if you were given this through an IV, through the IV fluid, it's going to run you about $100. This is one ibuprofen, 800 milligrams. This here is $20 to help cure you, to get rid of pain. Some women use it when they're on their cycle to stop the cramping. Some folks use it when they have body, swelling. It's good for swelling. Ibuprofen is good for certain type of pain. Tylenol is good for fevers. Ibuprofen is not, unless it's mixed, which is called Vicodin. Vicodin and ibuprofen, they work together. Then you have Tylenol. Then you have Tylenol with codeine. So each medicine that you take is also numbered by the pharmacology. I'm a pharmacy technician, so yeah. So my whole thing is, everything costs. The pharmaceutical companies come every month to sit down with the doctors to try new drugs, especially in cardiology, vascular, and gastroenterology, which is the gastro doctor for your stomach. So if you got problems with your stomach, And your bowels, that's what you go to, the gastroenterology. You go to ENT, ear, nose, and throat. You go to nephrology, you go to neurology. You go to all of these these clinics to be able to get yourself healed. But as a people, we have to learn how to take healthcare precautionary measurements to know that, hey, I don't want to go through this stuff. Did I expect to fall off the bike? No, I didn't. So my whole thing is they don't look at that, oh, it's your fault, it's your fault. No, no, you know. But stuff will happen. You can get hit by a car. It's gonna cost. That's why when you get insurance, the medical, you know, 100,000, 100,000. They if the other insured driver, but if he's underinsured, that means you're not gonna get enough. So now you got to go after a civil lawsuit to get the coverage you need. But when you walk into the ER, it's $2,000. If the ambulance comes, that's 15 up to 2,000. So right there, just clocking it, because on the ambulance, and I did training as an EMT, they have medicine to keep you alive until they get there. They have oxygen. The oxygen keep you alive till they get there. If you having an allergic reaction, they know what to do to keep your airway open so you don't have, you know, you end up going to cardiac arrest. See, these things happen. When you're playing sports, if you're an athlete in high school, you've got to have, the Chicago Sky is one of our clients. So when we call them our babies, although those are girls, when they come for their EKG, echocardiogram, they got to get a whole physical in order to be able to play on the court. If their health is not up to par, they ain't playing nowhere because they're not going to take that chance. That's why they have to make sure every athlete and anyone that knows that's in sports, especially Marcus Liberty, my Jaguar brother from King High School, they will tell you, you have to have the physical. It's what's going on. My son played wrestling. He played basketball. He did soccer. He did track and field. He did the same thing I did in high school, except I didn't do wrestling. But it costs. The visits cost. No more Leave It to Beaver and Dennis the Menace doctors. $5, $2. Because to get the medication costs money. And a lot of heart patients are on so many medications, cholesterol pills. They're on a lot of heart medication. It costs money. They can barely afford it. And then when you get ready to file your taxes at the end of the year, you're trying to use all of the resources you can get to be able to keep yourself alive. So is it fair to say that our health is important because we live, but there's a back door that people don't know about that I see on a consistent basis, and it's costly. And when I check in a lot of patients for their procedure, sessions that they're coming for, a surgery and the procedure goes hand in hand. The procedure is something that's less than an hour. A surgery is more than an hour. It costs because it's your life. It's your life. So it behooves us to encourage our children, our family members, what you need to do if you don't want no problems with your body. Because at the end of the day, doctors like my father was careless. I'm grown. I do what I want to do. All that kind of nonsense. Now look where he at, cremated in the box. I saw his doctor today, and I said, I appreciate Dr. Stadler. He did the best. He said, no, you're a good daughter. And I literally wanted to cry because I tried to get my dad's people to be a part of it with me. They didn't want to do that. So they went according to what his ideas were and fought me every tooth and nail. I don't even know where my brother died from. I tried to tell you what he died from. But you didn't want to hear it. You didn't want to hear it. Even my little snot nose on little niece didn't want to go and take care of my father, because he wanted to use her to help her because he didn't do nothing for my half brother. See, I was his care plan giver from day one. So while he was trying to fight me and want everybody else to fight me, he literally didn't understand. You hurt me. Now, at the end of the day, Apostle, who had to bury my father?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you don't want, you think, oh, I'm bigger than God. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, you're not bigger than God. God is bigger than you. You want to tell God what to do. But the Bible tell us, the scripture tell us that he wants us to be in good health. There were doctors in the Bible. They might not have got paid money. They might have got paid, with food or things like that. But medical has opened up broadly into areas more so now than just a common cold or a headache or acid reflux. You got stomach problems where you can't use the bathroom like you need to use it. So this is what we're faced with. And insurance is you better have it.
Mm-hmm.
You better have it.
That's good conversation tonight, Dr. Sanders. Great conversation. My goodness, man. I tell you, you hit the hammer on the nail tonight because a lot of people don't know the back ends of the insurance companies. Um, a lot of people don't know the things that happen behind the scenes without having insurance and with having insurance. But in the story, John Q was a father who loved his son. And the problem was with this story is that his job had a problem, an issue with their insurance plan. They switched the insurance plan. And I want to say this to people before we close out tonight. You got to know that you know. You got to know if you're working on a job, if you are getting assistance from the state or the city or your local agencies, you got to know what kind of insurance plan it is, and you have to understand what is it going to cover. See, John Q, what he did was he took the hospital hostage because they didn't want to accept the insurance plan that he had. And now you got his son who's about to die because of a heart transplant. The hospital was going to reject the insurance that he had. And this is real talk, folks. Don't wait until you get to a place where somebody in your family needs a surgery or a heart transplant, or kidney transplant, or some major surgery, and then find out that your health care or their health care coverage does not cover their surgery. You got to know better. You got to do better, folks. In closing tonight, I want to say I get so sick and tired of every time I go to my doctor's appointments. You go to the dentist, and the first thing that the person that's sitting at the desk is going to ask you, do you have your insurance card on you? And I get so bent out of shape because of it, because it makes you feel like they're being so disrespectful. I get so sick and tired of hearing folks ask me for my insurance or do you have insurance? Every time you get a referral from your doctor's office and you got to call therapy or you got to call some other agency or some other doctor that's in the doctor's network because your doctor, your primary care physician, gave you a referral to go see a heart doctor, a thyroid doctor. See, I have those doctors that I have to go see. When you first call their office, you know the first thing that they're going to ask you for? What insurance you got? Even before the conversation gets started about you coming to see the thyroid doctor, because you got to get thyroid surgery. See, a lot of folks don't know my story. See, my story is that I died in my house because of a thyroid storm. It stopped my heart. I died in my own house. But thanks be to God that I'm still here. Let me say this to y'all. It's annoying to me. It's very annoying when the first thing they ask you for is your medical card. Do you have insurance? Because believe me, folks, if you don't have no insurance, I really feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the families, for the people that do not have health care insurance. Because if you notice, if you go to the emergency room and they find out that you don't have any insurance, they're going to put you way on the back burner. And you're going to be sitting there in the emergency room for hours upon hours upon hours because you don't have no health insurance. So, folks, please do me a favor. Find out what kind of insurance plan that your job has. Find out what kind of insurance that the state government has. Your local governments. Find out what kind of insurance plan that they have. And then you also got to find out what does the insurance plan covers. Don't wait until the last minute. But in closing, the message of John Q is not simply about healthcare. Tonight's topic was when life has a price tag. It's about the priceless value of human life. As followers of Jesus Christ, we are called to defend the vulnerable, show mercy to the suffering, and remember that every person that bears the image of God. The gospel calls us to be people of justice, compassion, and love. This is going to be our conversation tonight. Dr. Sanders, I really want to thank you again for your knowledge in the healthcare business and the services. That was very enlightening to me, and I'm quite sure the people that will go back and look at this broadcast will find that it is very good information because you expounded on some stuff that, my God, that I didn't even know about. And it's amazing that, you had, when you look at the different insurance plans and the different companies, how they regulate what part of the body they're going to work on, and the body has numbers and things like that. That's very interesting. So I want to thank you again for a awesome dialect tonight. And this is going to wrap up our show for tonight. Our conversation next week. This is the next conversation about next week. It's called They Ain't Learning Nothing. They ain't learning nothing. The conversation is going to be about the educational system pushing inner city kids through school when they haven't learned anything. That's going to be our conversation next week. They ain't learned nothing. Dr. Sanders, they pushing our kids through school and our kids ain't learning nothing. That's going to be the next conversation next week. Stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned for the next conversation. They ain't learning nothing. We are going to be going live again next week. Stay tuned for another broadcast. I am Dr. Morris with my co-host, Dr. Sanders, in the studio tonight. We are Power 103, the station that empowers the people. Real talk, real radio, and real conversations. We are the people station. We are Power 103. Dr. Sanders, you have a wonderful evening, and I will be talking to you soon. You know how we do. We conversate all week long. Peace out, Dr. Sanders. Y'all have a good one, and I hope y'all enjoyed the show tonight. God bless each and every one of you.